Recognized for your open statement.
Thank you. Chairman Paul, Ranking Member Peters, and distinguished members of the committee, thank you so much for having me to testify today. Empower Oversight provides legal representation to brave whistleblowers across the federal government. We're honored to represent several air marshals, including Senior Air Marshal Mark Crowder here today. Mr. Crowder first came to Empower in 2022 through the Air Marshal National Council's indomitable executive director, Sonia Labasco, seated behind me. He raised concerns that his wife had been targeted for exercising her First Amendment rights alone. And if they truly considered her some sort of threat, why wasn't he walled off from seeing this information as he assigned missions of air marshals around the country? Despite his disclosures to the Office of Special Counsel, my former agency, and later to the DHS Inspector General, no meaningful investigation ever took place. That failure of oversight is exactly what allows abuses to fester. Ms. Labasco contacted us at Empower Oversight again in the beginning of August 2024 when air marshals wanted to blow the whistle on another disturbing case, the political targeting of Tulsi Gabbard through TSA's Quiet Skies program. The facts were alarming. Ms. Gabbard was added on July 23, 2024, just one day after she made statements to Laura Ingraham on Fox News critical of Vice President Kamala Harris, who had just become the presumptive Democratic Party presidential nominee. Rather than using her passport photo as required, TSA officials used her official congressional photo, making clear that they knew exactly who she was. These initial whistleblower disclosures were reported by Wendy Strauch-Mahoney on Uncover DC and digitally on the Brianna Morello Show. Despite Empower's experience with the DHS IG failing to investigate the Crowder situation, we asked them to investigate here, and we also submitted disclosures to Congress. Members of this committee and others pressed DHS for answers. And your persistence, Chairman Paul, helped ensure Secretary Noem became aware of the Quiet Skies program and ended it. Ending Quiet Skies was a very important step and well overdue. But that alone doesn't prevent what happened to the Crowders. They were not a part of the Quiet Skies program. And a program like Quiet Skies could always be revived if we fail to learn the lessons. The first lesson is very clear. Civil liberties cannot protect themselves. Independent oversight is essential from bodies like this and others. Whenever government cites national security to conceal its actions, the risk of abuse rises, and only oversight can shine the light needed to stop it. In this case, much more light is needed as it relates to Tulsi Gabbard. On January 28, 2025, the New York Times published a leak from the government attempting to explain away Ms. Gabbard's placement on Quiet Skies. The article claimed that her placement was related to her attending a conference at the Vatican, supposedly because of another attendee on the watch list. But the article admitted that she attended alongside another former member of Congress, Mick Mulvaney, who invited her. If Ms. Gabbard was truly flagged for that reason, why wasn't Mr. Mulvaney also added to Quiet Skies when he flew back from the conference at the Vatican? The government's story just doesn't add up, and any credible review must answer those questions. Secretary Noem announced their review revealed, quote, the Quiet Skies program was used as a political Rolodex of the Biden administration, end quote. However, she provided few details. Reports indicate that at least one elected official had her husband removed from the Quiet Skies list with a single phone call. These issues demand a full accounting. That's why Empower Oversight recently called on the DHS Inspector General to complete its work and make its report public. Normally, Inspector General reports with private information are kept internal. They have information about personal individuals. However, given Ms. Gabbard's prominence, the allegations of political targeting, and the large amount of selective information the government already leaked, there's a clear public interest here in transparency. DHS IG has released similar reports before when public figures were involved. Accountability cannot be achieved if this is swept under the rug in a private report. In addition, the investigation must look beyond Ms. Gabbard's case. Anyone who abused TSA protocols to target or protect individuals for political reasons must be held accountable. A thorough report is necessary to propose discipline for those who committed misconduct. Finally, another of the most important lessons is that none of this would have come to light without whistleblowers. Of course, it was obvious to Ms. Gabbard that she was subjected to extra screening. But what she didn't know and would never have known was that she was formally targeted through Quiet Skies. Only courageous insiders willing to speak up made that possible. After their disclosures, and when we brought these things to the attention of the IG, TSA opened a leak investigation. Of course, this was troubling. The legal question of whether whistleblowers may disclose so-called sensitive security information to the media was resolved over a decade ago in the case of Air Marshal Robert McLean. When his case came to the Supreme Court in 2013, I organized for Senator Grassley a bicameral, bipartisan amicus brief arguing TSA's regulations couldn't trump the statutory guarantees of the Whistleblower Protection Act. A Supreme Court majority agreed with us. but TSA still sought to investigate our clients' disclosures as though they were unlawful leaks. That kind of retaliation chills whistleblowers across the government. TSA backed down when Empower exposed their investigation, but those kinds of risks remain. Protecting whistleblowers isn't optional. They are the first line of defense against waste, fraud, abuse, and overreach. If they are silenced, American people lose one of the only tools that can help bring abuses of power into the light. Thank you again for the opportunity to testify, and I look forward to your questions.